Hello everybody, Michael from the Keechma framework here. Today I want to show you the new Keechma debugger tool that we are building. It's not released yet, we plan to release it somewhere next week, but today I want to use this opportunity to show you the features that we built into it. So you can see the application that we're using for the example on the left side and the debugger runs on the right side. This is the place my order application. It's one of the more complex example applications built for Keechma. And we are going to click around and see what's going on in the debugger. So as you can see, we have already some stuff rendered here. These are the events that are reported when the application is started. So first one is the application start event. This event allows you to see which controllers are registered for the application itself. After that, you can see the router sending the route changed event, and you can see that parameter that it extracted from the route is page home. So currently we are on the home page, and we get the report for that here. You can toggle payloads so it's not too noisy. And whenever the Keechma application encounters the route changed command, it will run the params function on each controller. And if that function returns a non-nil value, it will start the controller. As you can see, only the vacuum controller is started right now. That's because the params function returned true as its value. So you can see it here, vacuum is running. All the others controller are currently in the stopped state. So we have restaurants, restaurant, order, and order history controllers here. And finally, you can see all the stuff, all the functions that Keechma is calling. So first it called the vacuum start function, and after that it called the handle function of the vacuum controller. And we can see here that vacuum is the only running controller at this point in time. So when we click choose a restaurant button, the route changed. So we are now on the restaurants page, you can see here. And now because the restaurants controller returned true, it's also running on this URL. We can go to the code and quickly see the params function for the controllers. So if we open the vacuum controller, you can see that this controller is always running. It's always returning true as its value. And the restaurants controller, so it takes in the route and checks if the page is restaurants and if there is no slug defined. So it's basically checking if we are on the restaurants page and if the current restaurant is not open. Okay, so let's go back to the app. So on this application, we can now select a state from which we want to choose a restaurant, then a city, but let's see here. So now the component states sent the command select state to the restaurants controller, and it sent the IL for Illinois as its argument. And the controller restaurants received the select state command, and it received the IL as the argument. Similar thing will happen when we choose a city. So now the component cities sent the select city command to the restaurants controller with the payload Chicago. As you can see here, you have those batch separators. So every time when there is no events for 2 seconds, it will insert this batch so you can know when the new events came in. Okay, so on the left side, we have the list of restaurants now, and clicking on place my order button will basically just change the URL. So let's click it and see what will happen. Okay, so here is another batch started, and we have another route changed event. Also, when you see this black horizontal line, that means that the route changed and that the lifecycle methods will be run. So, okay, first of all, we can see that restaurants controller is stopped now. That's because, if you recall, the params command, it checks if the slug is nil, but currently the slug is not nil because we are on the restaurant page. So let's see here. So slug is cow restaurant. So the restaurant's controller is stopped now, and the restaurant controller is started. So first the start function is called, and then the handler function is called. And on each route changed, the vacuum controller receives the route changed command, and it basically cleans up the entity DB, so it removes all the orphaned entities from the DB. So right now we can see that restaurant controller is running and the vacuum controller is running. Okay, now we can click order from the restaurant. We are now on the route changed again. We are now on the action order URL. So it's cow restaurant, page restaurants, action order. So another round of the lifecycle commands happened. And now we have both the restaurant and the order controllers running. So that's probably because the order controller checks if action is order. So this controller runs both when the when the action is order or when the page is order history. We will go to that page a bit later. Okay, so now let's order some food. Okay, we click place my order. And as you can see, the order form component now sent save order command to the order controller. Let's see the payload. And here we have all the data that we filled in the form. So address, phone, name, status is new, and set of all the items that were ordered. Okay, now we are done with this part. Let's go to the order history page. Okay, so the URL changed again. The route is page order history, and as you can see, the order controller is running because it checks if it's page is order history or action is order. And we have the order history controller running now too. So when we click on one of these buttons here, like mark as preparing, component order list item will send mark order command to the order controller, and it will send the order that we want to update and its new status. And after that, the controller is sending the order updated command, and it's just sending the new order payload. And here we have an interesting situation. This page is connected with WebSockets, so we can have multiple browsers on this page, and they will all receive the events. So if we open another browser now, we have it here in Safari. So let's refresh. Okay, so we have this order preparing on both pages, and when we click mark as out for delivery in the Safari browser, which is not connected to debugger, let's see what happens. Okay, so the order history controller received another command, order updated, and it updated the order in the list. So here it is, and the reason for that is because here in the order history controller, in its handler function, we connect to the WebSocket and listen to the events that come in. And whenever the event comes in, we execute the command on that controller, and that gets sent into the controller channel, which gets reported to the debugger. So this is what I want to show you for today. I hope you like it. The full implementation of the debugger We'll have more features, but these are the ones that are implemented right now. And please check out keechma.com. Version 1 is almost ready, and ping me on Twitter or on my email if you have any questions.